we tend to ask God, like, oh God, I think this is enough. I've had enough. Please stop. Like I've had enough, and we try to negotiate with God. But it is not for you to decide that, okay, I think this punishment, God, I think we've gone far now. I think we can relax. Let us not give God 50%. For God will also respond to us in a 50% manner. When you go to an exam, why do you put in 100% and then but when you come to God you give 50%? Greetings and welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back. Now, if you are new to the channel and you haven't subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so that you do not miss when a new video pops up, right? Now, keep in mind, guys, that you are now available on TikTok at Sinner Saved by _Grace, and you can be sure to find us on that platform. Now, to my podcasters, guys, you are now available as well on YouTube at Ashley Gerrera, and you can be sure to follow us as well on that platform. Now also, guys, keep in mind that you are now available on Anchor, Spotify, as well as on Apple Podcasts. Now, to extend to that, you are now available on Google Podcast, Amazon Music, as well as on Overcast. So guys, this is just exciting. I'm excited. The podcast has grown from 3 channels to 6 channels now, guys. So we're now available on 6 platforms, and you can be sure to follow us on any of those 6 different platforms, right? So today, guys, today is actually kind of like a sad day. We're ending the end of the book of Samuel, right? So we've now gone through the book of 1 Samuel and 2 Samuel, and today we are going to come to the end of the book of Samuel, right? And we're talking about the 7 lessons that we can then learn from the book of Samuel. Now, to find out more, stick around. Now, for today's lesson, guys, we are not going to be talking about, or we're not going to read any Bible verses like what we've been doing previously on other episodes, right? But guys, I just want you to, if you haven't watched a previous episode, right, like the one that we talked about how gratitude is everything, and I'll leave the link right here so that you can be able to go and watch it, right? So that you can understand why gratitude is everything and the importance of giving thanks to the Lord, right? But today, guys, we are talking about the 7 lessons that we have learned, summarizing the whole book of the book the book of Samuel in the Bible, right? So lesson number 1, it says that beware when the Spirit of God departs from you, right? Beware when the Spirit of God departs from you. Now, guys, when you look back at this scenario, right, we look back, and this was when Saul had gone away from God, and he had decided to do things against God, and the Spirit of God moved from Saul and it went to David. And we said the main take that you can then take from this story is that we should do things that are according to God, guys. Let us do things that are according to the accordance of God, or rather His will, so that the Spirit of God does not depart from us. For we said, when the Spirit of God departs from you, an evil spirit then comes to your way, guys. Just like what happened with Saul. When the Spirit of God departed from him, it says that then an evil spirit from God, not from anyone else, but from God, came to him, right? And this, you don't want to find yourself in that same instance. And that is the lesson 1 that you can then take into our lives and apply it in our lives. Now, lesson number 2 says that why you should trust God to fight your battles. Why you should trust God to fight your battles, right? And in this instant, guys, it was a moment of David and Goliath, right? It was a moment of David and Goliath, and we said that the battle is not yours to fight, guys. The battle is not yours to fight. So whatever it is that you're facing in life, remember that the battle is not yours to fight. Rather, take it to God and tell God that, you know what, this is beyond me. I cannot take this on my own. And rather, you take the battle to God, just like what David did. David, before he faced Goliath, right, he said that you come to me with a spear, a sword, and a shield, but I come to you in the name of the Lord. And that we say that is what we should also do in our lives. Instead of coming to the battlefield and say, you know what, I come to you with my master's degree. I come to you because I've done this and this and that. Or I've come to you because I've experienced this before and, I can conquer this time. But we said that we shouldn't do that, guys. But rather, we should also go to the battlefield and say, you come to me with all these things, but I come to you not in my name, not in my power, not even in the things that I have accomplished before, but I come to you in the name of the Lord. Now for lesson number 3, guys, it says that should we revenge when someone does something wrong to us? Should you revenge when someone does wrong to you? You know, sometimes when someone does something wrong to you, you look back and you're like, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what it is that I'm capable of. But now we realized in the book of Samuel that revenge is not for us to take. And we looked at the scenario of David, right? When Saul was coming after him, right? And all of those things. And we say that David did not take revenge on Saul for all the bad things that Saul was wishing upon David. But rather David took it to God and said, you know what, God, this is beyond me, and rather you be the one that revenge on my behalf. And we see that in the end, right, that God revenged, or God rather took the place of revenge. And we also talked about the benefit of leaving God to revenge on your behalf, right? So this is a message that we should then take into our lives, like, guys, that revenge is not for you to take. Do not take revenge and say, you know what, I'm going to show them what I'm made of. They don't know me. I want to show them how powerful I can be, or how I can destroy their lives, or how one decision can change their lives. But we say that revenge is not for you to take, right? But revenge belongs to the Lord. Now, lesson number 4 says that the danger of being at the wrong place at the wrong time. The danger of being at the wrong place at the wrong time. You know, usually we hear things of being at the right place but wrong time, or right time but wrong place, right? But in this instance, we talked about how we can be at the wrong place as well as being at the wrong time, right? And we're looking at the story of David and Bathsheba, right? Where then David took Uriah's wife and he ended up sleeping with someone's wife because he was not in war with other people, right? And we said it as well into our lives. Let us not find ourselves dangling in things that we should not be dangling in. And we also talked about how when others are going in the extra mile, guys, let us all go and do the extra mile. When others are planting, let us also plant, for the one day the harvest season is going to come. And if you don't plant, there's going to be nothing to harvest, right? So also, guys, to those when they're writing exams or whatever it is that you might be doing, right, keep in mind when others are studying for their exams, also as well go and study for the exams as well, right? So that when the time for the results to come, you can then reap the efforts that you put in whilst you were studying as well. And this applies to every other discipline in life. When others are doing going the extra mile, putting in the work, do as well, do the same thing and go and put in the work. Now for lesson 5, guys, we talked about the wrong choice of friends can derail your life. The wrong choice of friends can derail your life, right? And we looked at the instance of Jonadab, right? Jonadab and Amnon. And we say that, you know what, for these guys, Amnon was not a person who was a deceiver, but because Jonadab was the one who was a deceiver, right? Amnon ended up sleeping with his own sister because of the bad advice that he got from Jonadab. And this advice that he got ended up leading to his own death. And we said, guys, let us be conscious of the friends that we keep in our circle, right? Let us be conscious and be aware of the people that we have in our circle, guys, because these people can either make your life to go straight, or rather they'll even derail your life, right? And some people, when they look back at their lives, they can look back and say, you know what, I could have gone this way, but because of the bad choice of friends that I had, it derailed my life, right? So as you are reading this, it is never too late, guys. It's only too late when you are under the grave or when you are dead. But rather, guys, let us keep in mind that the wrong choice of friends that you make better friends today. If you have friends resulting in consequence, right, do not choose friends according to action. Choose friends based on a conscious level, right, so that they will not derail your life. Now on lesson number 6, guys, we talked about the 5 dangers of pride, the 5 dangerous things about pride, right? And we talked about how pride can lead you to doing certain things, right? And I'm not going to preempt it on this episode, but rather, guys, we're talking about how pride will cause you to lift yourself up, see yourself as if you're better than other people, always see yourself superior to other people. And we say that God has a day in store for the proud and the haughty, right? And he says that God is going to visit you and is going to bring you down. And that is what we talked about in that episode when we talked about the 5 dangers of pride. So then as we go on about our lives, the main lesson that was there in that episode is that let us learn not to be people that have pride, but let us rather learn to be people that have a humble spirit. And rather, instead, if we're to boast of anything, let us rather boast of Christ, and he will be the one that will lift you up. Now, for the last lesson, guys, we talked about God rewards you accordingly, right? And this was, I believe this was a previous episode that we talked about. It should be yesterday, right? Where we talked about how God rewards you accordingly, right? And we also referred to a Bible verse in Galatians chapter 6, verse 7. Yes, verse 7. I believe it's verse 7. Where we talked about, do not be fooled. God is not mocked. For whatsoever a man sows, that shall we also reap, right? And we talked about this, right? And we said, God will reward you accordingly. Whatever it is that you're planting today, guys, just know that it is going to also what? Manifest itself, and you are going to reap the results of that you are planting today. So when you come to God, guys, let us keep in mind that let us not give God 50%. For God will also respond to us in a 50% manner. When you go to an exam, why do you put in 100% and then but when you come to God you give 50%, right? So we then decided that whatever it is that you do in life, whatever discipline that you've been involved in, learn to always give it your 100%, and God will reward you accordingly to the things that you have done. God will not give you 100% when you have put in 50%. It does not work like that. And that was our main message for how God will reward you accordingly. Now, guys, this is the end of the 7 lessons that you've learned from the book of Samuel. Isn't it been interesting? Now, this was just a snippet of what we have been talking about, or rather 7 lessons from about 20 plus lessons that we talked about from the book of Samuel, right? Now I've done you guys a favor, right? Because I want you guys not to miss anything. I want these lessons to stick by you. So I've made a playlist for you guys, and I'll put it at the end of this video, where you can then go by and watch the playlist, right? Which then puts all the videos that are talking about the book of Samuel, that when you look at them, you can be able to apply them in your life and be able to make better life decisions and be able to become a better person. And I've done that, guys, so that you don't have to start scrolling and looking for which video talks about what, but I've created a playlist specifically for you guys so that you can go and watch it and be able to become a better person and be able also to apply these things in your life. Now that is the end of our 7 lessons for today. So keep in mind, guys, that always do your best, always keep God first. The battle is not yours to fight, and always remember that you should exalt God above everything else, and he will be the one that will lift you up. May God bless you. The Bible then says that, and he bowed himself down. From putting yourself up here, you'll find yourself back here.